Is the hype real for the instrument, or is it more marketing drivel? Hey guys, so I've been getting these targeted ads lately, and I'm sure you have been too. Basically plugins, software, anything just telling you that if you download this thing, it's going to take your music to another level. Honestly, I think most of this stuff is a distraction. If you follow my work, you know I'm an advocate of minimal plugins. That way you can stay immersed in the creative process and making music. I think plugins are largely a distraction. However, I did see an ad for this plugin called The Instrument from Phil Speiser. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. And this ad I thought was really good. I also thought the sounds in the demo were dope. So I wanted to get to the bottom of whether this plugin is worth your time. And I'm doing this purely independently. He didn't pay me to do this, and I went out and bought the plugin with my own money. So we're going to see today whether it's worth your time and whether you should pick it up, or if it's more the marketing dribble we see out there in this space. Let's check it out. All right, first things first, let's go to the website. We got the instrument right here. Looks like it's going for 99 bucks. And it's got a good visual presentation here. Some tutorials as well as a walkthrough right here, so you know what you're getting into before you buy the product. And then testimonials. That's always good to see, because you see these sometimes, you're like, are these even real people? But this is secured by Trustpilot, so that's something we can believe in. And support here, I know he also has a support email you can reach him at. So again, all good signs, very transparent. Go to the About Me. I actually listened to some of his music, and he's a pretty good producer. So that's another good thing to see. You don't want to be buying a plugin from somebody who doesn't know how to make music. All good on that front. So when you actually download this, and I did go ahead and download it, you get this control center. And this control center allows you to download directly any plugin you buy. In my case, I got the instrument, and there are also other ones you can get as well, which is nice because you don't have to surf through the computer to find where that download link went. It's all in one place. And I actually did have an issue initially with synchronizing the library properly. Some of the sounds didn't download properly, so I was able to go in here and reinstall it and get everything working. So there's a little bit of a hiccup with that download, but the control center makes it really easy to just re-download things, uninstall, reinstall if you have an issue. So I actually really like that. So we've got the plugin open in front of me right here. And we're going to touch on 4 key components for this review. The first one's going to be aesthetics. I think as musicians, we care a lot about aesthetics. We care about how something sounds. We're going to also care about how it looks. And so the appearance of a plugin is actually so important. It's got to inspire you. It's got to be something that you like and something that you want to work with. Number 2, does it deliver? Does it live up to the hype? Does this actually compare to what we're seeing out there? Number 3, very simple. Will I ever use it? Is this something that I would open up, or is it going to figuratively collect dust on my hard drive? And number 4, is it worth the price? Would you put up 99 bucks for this plugin? All right, so to talk about the aesthetics of this plugin and the UI, I thought it'd also be helpful to play you a little composition I did, which is a lo-fi concept. Here's what it sounds like. Has some different sections there, which we could get to later, but essentially it's an arpeggiated piano. It is an 808 sub bass made with the instrument. There's a sort of electric piano in clouds layer, which I've got right in front of me here. And then there's some Foley, some texture, and some classic lo-fi hip-hop drums. So let's talk about the plugin. It's really similar to Avenger and Nexus. So if you're familiar with those plugins, they are really preset plugins. So you're not going to want to really construct things from the ground up. I don't even know if you can. I don't know if there is an init here, an initialize preset patch. It's really a bunch of presets, and there are a ton of them. There are a ton of presets. So let's open up a blank slate one here, or generally blank slate. I have an idea, which I'll explain to you in a second. But so you go here, and there are all these sounds. So many of them. And I think this plugin is really good for lo-fi and hip hop, and then also in a supplementary context for EDM and house. But if you play through these plugins, you'll see a lot of them are great for lo-fi. So I'll show you a concept I have right here, actually. Now here's the catch. I didn't come up with that, actually. This plugin did, and this is a unique feature of this. So, of course, you have the waveform here, ADSR, everything looks good. But this little section called the hack is awesome. This will allow you to generate melodies or generate chord progressions, kind of like Captain chords if you're familiar with it. So I put it into this chord mode, and I put melody generator on, and I hit generate a couple times. There are like a million permutations of different melodies it can come up with. And then I dragged the MIDI when I came up with an idea I liked right across. I'll just drag to show you what it looks like. And I got it right in there. And so that's how I came up with this idea. And it's not perfect. It's a little cutesy. It's not ideal for me, but I was trying to come up with a different melody beyond the ones I already put into this song. And I almost called it Captain Chords. The instrument came through for me. So let's hear it again. So it actually just played an idea here. So I did that by accident, but that sounds pretty good too. So let's turn off that mode and hear what I'd originally dragged in, which came from here. Is it perfect? No. Is it something I would put in my final composition? No. But it's pretty damn good. And so I like that feature. I think that's one of the most unique aspects of this plugin, is that you can come up with these little melodies when you didn't know what you're doing. You just come up with it right there and you drag it right in. So that's awesome. In general, this is just a nice looking interface. And I'm going to pick on Massive a little bit here. You look at Massive, this just makes my head hurt to look at this. I never want to see this again. In fact, this is the first time I've probably pulled it up in 5 years. And I'm going to pick on Native Instruments because I love Native Instruments, but that is an ugly plugin. There's a reason why Vital, Serum, even Diva, I think are much better choices as digital soft synths. Back to our guy, the instrument. This isn't really going to replace Vital. It's not going to replace Serum. It's not something that you engineer sounds from the ground up with. It's got an amazing preset library, and I'm just going to go through a couple sounds. I won't bore you here and play too many because you could find a playthrough by someone else or maybe by Phil Speiser himself. So I'll just play a couple sounds and show you what this sounds like, and then you can dive into it on your own time. So I got it in chord mode again, where it's generating chords for you. Let's put it just off so we can just hear what these sound like on their own. Go to leads, cloud guitar. Check out synth, maybe Ronson. I assume that's Mark Ronson. Got a bit of a funky sound to it, something from the 70s maybe. Then pads here. Let's go to the 808s. And then let's look at a pluck, and then we'll move on. Maybe Mojito. Sounds pretty tropical. All right, so there you've got the gist with the instrument. It's got great presets. It looks nice. And like I said, I really like this ADSR here and how you can see the waveform. So you're not just guessing and relying entirely on your ears. You can actually look at what's going on with the waveform. So I'm going to show you something I did with this little lo-fi idea. Check it out. So we can see the waveform, and as we mess with these parameters, we're going to see that waveform change as well. So I love that. So I want to jump back to this section, the hack. I showed you how I came up with some melodies in that melody mode, but if you go to chords, this is cool. So again, it's like Captain plugins if you're familiar with it. If you're somebody who's not big on music theory, or you're like me and you don't love to play piano chords all day, you're trying to actually just compose and move really quick on the fly, this is great. So you could play a 6-4-1-5 progression. I put the key in as, let's go to C major. You have all these options here. in terms of the harmonic progression. I'm going to just go simple with triad major, play 6-4-1-5, and I'm going to show you how you can actually get this straight into your DAW. All right, let's hit record. And then now we can drag the MIDI we just recorded right across. It's not perfectly quantized, but we can do that on our own time. You get the idea. You can drag whatever chord progression you come up with from the plugin into the DAW. Also, sorry if I'm choking up on this microphone. I have it in my face like this. The sensitivity on it isn't great, so I have to just keep it real close. So that's how we're going to do it today. But so let's look at just one or two more cool features. There's this strum effect, which allows you to strum, self-explanatory. Pretty cool. Rhythm. Sounds weird when I have the strum on. Maybe if you're like actually doing some kind of EDM chord here. Let's pull something up and see what it does. Like maybe melodic sweat. That sounds kind of electronic. There you go. And again, you've got some basic effects here. You got reverb and delay, which you can dial up the intensity on, as well as the size, warmth. So a little bit of distortion probably right there. And a simple low pass, high pass filter kind of thing going on. Real simple interface gets the job done. So point number 2 is, does it deliver? I think the answer is yes. Because again, I wasn't looking for a plugin that was going to build stuff from the ground up like Serum, where you have an init preset. I just wanted something that was going to serve in a supplementary role and really help fill in the blanks and do something which I call sonic painting, which is just kind of to fill out the canvas. You know, you have a base idea. Now let's color some things in. Point number 3 was, will I ever use it? And that kind of goes back to 2. If it delivers, I'll use it. It's got a massive preset library. It sounds different from Avenger and Nexus, so I think it's going to give some variety. I will be using this on other compositions. Lastly, is the plugin worth it? Again, this goes for about $100. You could probably find some coupons for it for like 85, you know, take that price down a little bit, but basically $100. I think it's worth it because the way I look at it is, if I'm trying to finish a song or 2 or 3 songs, is that worth $100 for me to get those songs done, to push them across the finish line? Yeah, 100% I would pay $100 to get compositions that I believe in finished. And I think this does that. It removes some of the guesswork. It's kind of like asking your friend to co-produce a song with you. It just gives you different perspective. With all these presets, with all these different sounds, you can immediately start to paint into your composition like you do with Nexus or with Avenger and get results very quickly. So in closing, this plugin is really good to bring in as a final touch to your project. So I had this Bluthner piano going. And I was just looking for something that was more interesting than that plain piano. And I found this preset in Clouds, and it just sounded great. It fit right into that lo-fi style. I think sometimes we get obsessed with having 100 parameters for everything, a bunch of different reverb emulations, a bunch of different chambers and halls, and really you just need a plugin that's going to sound good. That's what this plugin is for. It looks nice and it's got great presets. So I think it is something you should add to your arsenal. It's definitely something I'm going to continue to use. I like that it's different from all the plugins out there, and it kind of has its own special sound. So you can put it in there and it's going to make your composition sound richer, but also a little different. So that's my independent evaluation. It lived up to my expectations, and it's something I'll be using again in more compositions in the future. So there you have it. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please consider dropping me a sub down below, as that will help me make more videos like this for you guys in the near future. I'll see you soon.